An espresso talk on the mole concept. The mole concept's tough for kids. In my experience, if you said to most chemistry students, how many moles of water are in this swimming pool, they would just be bumfuzzled. The mole concept is something that just eludes chemistry students no matter how much we seem to work with it. Well, here's I think what the problem is. They think 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. They think there's no way I could count the number of water molecules in the swimming pool. That's impossible. Well, they're thinking wrong. So here's what I suggest you do. Ask your students this question. If I opened the stockroom door to you and told you to go in there and get me a mole of sulfur, what would you do? Well, that's where they get stuck. That's where they seem to start thinking 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, I can't count that out. And somehow in the way that we teach chemistry, they miss the whole fact that getting a mole of sulfur is as simple as going in and getting the stock bottle, finding a scale, and scooping out the atomic weight in grams. If I remember my periodic chart correctly, that's 32.06 grams. It's a physical quantity. And somehow, the way we teach chemistry, almost all kids miss it. So what do we do? Well, here's what I would suggest. Ask that question and have some examples handy. Other examples. You might have the sulfur with you and say, but then look at them and say, how would I get a mole of maybe 10 if you have it in your stockroom? And again, let them struggle with it. And then show them. Scoop out onto a scale a mole of 10. And then maybe another metal until they begin to realize that all they do is look at the periodic chart, figure out the mass of the atomic weight, and scoop it out on a scale. But then you and I know the mole concept isn't quite that simple, but we start with the physical, getting them thinking about a physical amount, and then we got to go to the tougher stuff. But it gets kind of fun, because then you say to them, okay, so go get me a mole of oxygen from the stockroom. And they blast off in their mind, and they're like, oh, that's easy. Look up there, and it's 16 grams, and I scoop it out on a scale, but you remind them it's oxygen. Ooh, and they begin to realize, wow, I couldn't scoop that out on a scale, but it's still a physical quantity. So you've set them up for how much is a mole of a gas at STP, which there's a lot of good chemistry there, but you're going back to physical quantities. That's the whole point, is getting them back to a mole is a real amount that chemists use. So, hope that works for you. But now we're back to our swimming pool. So, could kids find out how many moles of water are in something as big as a swimming pool? Well, I think they could. Once they begin to realize it's an actual physical quantity, then they have to realize how much is in a molecule. They have to total that up. Then they're going to have to work with, okay, so what are the dimensions of the pool? But they can do it. They can think it through when they begin to realize that a mole is a real physical quantity. And then they're set up to realize, if I have this much water in a reaction, how much could it combine with? But they're thinking physical quantities, and they're not thinking 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Hope that helps.